Alright, good morning. I made it to Tokyo from Osaka 2 days ago actually, and I didn't really have an itinerary. On the first day, I got here by bullet train. The entire process, hopping from bullet train to other trains to really long walks, so I just passed it when I got home, and then yesterday I did a full day working. I don't have an itinerary. For the most part when I travel, it's not really, these aren't vacations, I'm still working. So yesterday, full day was a work day, got a lot done. I do e-commerce, so Black Friday week is the biggest week of the year, so it takes a lot of work to do that. So we're in Tokyo now. I'm staying in Shinjuku, and today I'm gonna be walking to Shibuya. I got my barefoot shoes on. I take my flip-flops off whenever I walk longer distances, so it's gonna be 30-minute walk today. And yeah, I have no clue what to expect. I saw a temple, so I'm gonna go visit that, and then if anything looks good to eat, I'm gonna stop. If it's ramen or sushi or whatever, if it's open, I'm gonna eat, because I have not eaten today. So that's the plan. I know that for tomorrow I'm gonna be going with a couple of friends to Hakone, if that's how you say it. We're gonna see Mount Fuji, and then for the rest of the week, I'm starting to pick up some ideas of what to do. Obviously, a couple of work days mixed in, but I'm gonna be here maybe 13 more days. I'm excited. The only times I've ever been to Tokyo were when I'm flying and I stay at the airport, and I've done that, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 times. Every time I fly intercontinental, that's where I go. But I've never actually stepped out of the airport, and this is a lot different already from Osaka. This is a huge city. I think it's the most populated city in the world, and next to it is Yokohama, second biggest city in Japan. And there's actually, as I Google, there's a lot of stuff to do here, so we'll see how I can split that up. But yeah, just gonna be walking about 30 minutes looking for food and things to do in Shibuya. Alright, so there's a few things that I have in mind for today. So I went on Reddit, found a super secret vending machine that I'm going to hunt down, and also I'm going to go to a place that I've seen in so many movies, and I'm going to walk there after I see this temple. So right now I'm in essentially the central park of Tokyo, and I found out a really cool fact. So Tokyo, as you know, is going to be the most populated city in the world with 37 million people in this city. And the population of Canada, the entire country of Canada, is 37.6 million. So it's almost as if every single Canadian hopped on a plane and just gathered in this city, basically the same size. That just blows my mind. So that's kind of the scale of how big Tokyo is. Now the other part of that is, with this city being as big as it is, it's so quiet. This is the central park of Tokyo, basically. It's so quiet. There's barely been any traffic. There's barely been any noise, nothing. So I ate some food, spilled miso soup all over myself, but yeah, once I'm done checking out this temple, I'm gonna start off with a place that I've always wanted to go to in Shibuya. In the early 1900s, Emperor Meiji passed away, and they built the shrine to commemorate his life and his royalty. By the early 1920s, this shrine was completed, but unfortunately, during World War II, the air raids actually destroyed this temple. About 13 years after the war ended, they started to restore what was left of the shrine, and as of today, it is a beautiful piece of history. When I was thinking about what to do in Tokyo, there was one thing that stood out, probably more than the rest. This is the Shibuya Crossing. So I've seen this crossing in so many different movies. It is the world's busiest street crossing, with over 100,000 people per hour crossing the street. It's pretty crazy to think about how busy this crossing actually is, and I went here during the morning when it wasn't too busy, but what I did notice is probably a good third of all these people were actually just crossing over and over again to take some photos. So I really wonder how busy it is if we just take into account all the people walking to and from work. Probably my favorite way to plan travel, it isn't watching YouTube, but scrolling through Reddit. So Reddit has a lot of really interesting personal experiences, and one of them was pointing out a hidden whipped cream vending machine at the bottom of one of the malls. Honestly, I'm not even really the biggest whipped cream fan, or desserts in general, but I just thought it was cool seeing something that was on Reddit, 3-year-old post, actually come to life in person. That was a pretty cool experience. And I even read some posts where they shut this down for a period of time, and seeing it back up and running was a pretty neat thing. If you know anything about me, you know I love Norway. It's my favorite country, and I've actually been to the original Oslo brewery, and seeing Japanese aquavit and some Japanese Norwegian beer was really awesome. Overall, my impression of Tokyo after staying there for 2 weeks was this is a really quiet city. It might be the world's most populated city, but it was honestly one of the cleanest and quietest cities that I've ever been to. So I'm going to drop a little foreshadowing here. I have another video coming out specifically on this topic, but one thing I was really looking forward to here in Japan was eating a cuisine that centered around raw meat. So what you're seeing right here is not fish, it's not beef, it's horse. This is called basashi in Japanese, and it's a lot more popular than you might expect. This type of meat dates back long into Japanese history, and now it's mostly a drinking food. And I'll get more into this in a separate video, but honestly, this is something that you should try if you see it on the menu. There's other types of raw meat here in Japan as well, like this raw duck. It's not cooked at all, it's not blanched, not cured, nothing. It's completely raw, and honestly, it might taste better than the real thing. I'll leave some more information in a future video, but I wanted to capture the scale of Tokyo. This is a massive city, and the Tokyo Tower is the perfect place to do that. This city is huge. There's buildings and skyscrapers that span miles and miles all the way up to the horizon, and it's pretty epic, honestly. After 2 weeks in Tokyo, there was one place that really stood out to me. So this is Yokohama, and this city is the second largest city in Japan. It's a neighbor to Tokyo, and the Chinatown is one of the nicest Chinatowns I've ever been to. The city is home to almost 50,000 Chinese citizens, and there's a lot of authentic temples and storefronts and just places that make this feel not as touristy of a Chinatown. Chinese food to me is completely different than Japanese. The seasonings are totally different. They steam a lot of their food. The way they prepare meat is very different, very unique, and the food is extremely filling. And I am going to Taiwan in just a few weeks to see the New Year's fireworks on the Taipei 101 and eat a lot of food, of course. And this is a really neat advance on the food I was about to be enjoying for the rest of the year. There we go. So there's one really interesting thing about Japan, and it's their drinking culture. So this is a locals only bar. There's a sign that says no foreigners posted outside, but they still dragged us in anyways. I kind of lost track of time, and when the sun rose, there were people coming in and taking shots, wearing suits on their way to work, and I've never seen anything like this before. I'm not sure if it's a good or bad thing, it's just an observation, but anyways, stick around for my next video. I'm going to be heading to the famous Mount Fuji.